Welcome back to another Klim product walkthrough. Today's video is going to cover a full comparison of the Klim snow goggle offering. So let's start with the latest goggle in the Klim lineup, the Edge E-Fire heated goggle. It doesn't take too long to see the battery pack on this. We'll do a full deep dive into this goggle on another full walkthrough, but just some of the basic pointers so it's easy to understand how it compares here. It's very similar to the Edge goggle that we've already offered in the past, and we'll talk about that in just a second, with the added benefit of a heated lens in case you get in foggy scenario and you need to be able to pull that fog out of the lens. So really handy if you need a heated goggle. The lens is a magnetic lens just like the Edge. It does have the outriggers, it's got the higher foam, so again, everything's gonna be very similar. The next goggle we want to talk about is the Eon goggle. This is a wide strap outrigger style goggle. It has a spherical torque lens, and what that means is the lens is curved this way and this way. And the reason for that is it's as close as we can get to matching the shape of the human eye, which is going to be the clearest we can possibly make the lens. So it's going to have the best clarity for most people out of any goggle we offer here. It's also a quick release magnetic style lens, and it's also a frameless style lens. Now that doesn't mean it doesn't have a frame, but it means that the lens goes all the way to the edge of the frame so you really can't see it, and it gives you a really wide field of vision. And I'll just kind of quickly show you. You just pull this little lever back on the side and you can use your finger inside to just pop the lens out. The magnets release, and then just to reinstall it, there's a hook on the edge. You just get that hook lined up. You can slide that back in, and then you can push the lever back and it locks the lens in. Eon goggle, as with the rest of these goggles, has a little bit of a higher foam compared to some other goggles on the market, or a summer goggle. That's gonna give you the ability to seal that goggle to a helmet really nicely, keep the wind out, especially in those cold winter conditions. And it also has a nose guard here, as all do the rest of these goggles as well. Now we'll move on to the Edge snow goggle. Almost identical features to the E-Fire goggle. It doesn't have the heated lens, but it's got the wide 50mm strap with the outrigger, the tall foam. It's got the beak, the nose beak. It's a magnetic lens. Again, it's a frameless design. And this is also a quick change lens that operates just a little bit differently. It's got a slider that you slide up, and then the lens will pop out. Pretty quick change lens there. Probably one of the easiest I've ever used. Super quick, and then you just slide the slider back down to put that in. This goggle probably has the widest field of vision, FOV, of any goggle in the lineup. In fact, we think it's probably the widest of anything in the industry. So gonna give you the best vision and FOV as possible. Another advantage to that is volume of air space behind the lens. That helps reduce fogging potential. So the more air you can get there, the more it can absorb moisture, the less chance you have of fogging. So the Eon and the Edge have a large volume, and they're gonna help reduce fogging as much as possible. Moving on to the Rage goggle. The Rage is also a quick change lens, 50mm strap, outriggers. The quick change does work slightly different. You have to slide the slider up and then rotate it out, and then the lens will pop out like that. Again, there's a hook on the side. Put the hook in, slide it in, and then you can just kind of shut that, and then slide it back down, and it locks the lens in. You'll notice again it has some nose protection, high foam. Field of vision on this is almost as good as the Edge. You can tell a little bit of difference when you compare them back to back, but it's still one of the best field of visions of any goggle in the industry. Does not have a magnetic lens system, so we took a couple little things that would make us able to drop the price to make it something that might be a little more in the center of the price range, a little more affordable. Moving on to the Viper Pro. Major difference in the frame between what we've seen up to this point and the Viper Pro, because this is a malleable frame. It's a much softer frame. That's important because not all face shapes are going to match a rigid frame. And so maybe, let's say for example, my 11-year-old son, we use a Viper for him because he's a smaller kid and the larger frames don't match his face as easy, but if we can put him in the Viper, it'll kind of pull in tight around his face, which prevents fogging, and it fits him much better. What's interesting about this is I find that the field of vision, even though it looks a little smaller, is still pretty big. It's comparable to the Edge and for sure the Rage goggle. A little bit smaller strap, keep the goggle lightweight. This does have outriggers like the previous goggles we've seen. It does have the high foam. The goggle lens on this is more of the older style where you had to kind of pull the frame apart. I'm not gonna do it right now. And then you can pull the lens out from a channel inside, and then you have to slide it back down in the channel. You'll notice that this goggle has kind of a ram air induction system. That's gonna help get fresh air to the face. If you compare that to the standard Viper does not have that ram air system. So if you're in colder conditions, the standard Viper might work good for that. Same frame as used on the Viper Pro. It's malleable, it's soft. In fact, it's actually more malleable because you don't have kind of this rigid ram air on the top. Uses even a smaller strap here. Again, try to keep it lightweight, easier for maybe a kid or somebody to operate. We've got nose protection and we still have the same wide field of vision. So hopefully that kind of clears up any questions you might have on how these goggles compare. Again, if you need more detailed information, there are full walkthroughs on some of these goggles, so go to our website and check that out, klim.com, or go to one of your local dealers and you can ask them questions and see and touch and feel the product. Follow us on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the snow.